Good morning, everybody. Starting a little early today, I have to head out a little bit early. So we'll see how this goes. So, to all of our friends over at Rumble, welcome. I want to thank you so much. And for everybody on the YouTube side, thank you guys. It's, like I said, an unusual day today. And for this day in music history, got a couple of things going on. July the 8th, 1961, birthday for Toby Keith. He was born in Oklahoma. In 1957, on July the 8th, Elvis Presley, Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear, hits number one on the American charts. And the movie that song is used in is released the next day. And today is also the birthday. Today is also the day that Bill Withers' Lean on Me hit number one. And for the craziest circumstance, in my opinion, is Jimi Hendrix opened for the Monkees today in Jacksonville, Florida, 1967. Hendrix doesn't last but for a few shows because the people just did not realize the crowd coming to see the Monkees was nothing like the people who would want to see Jimi Hendrix. RCR Racing, yeah, I remember you a little bit. Feel free to refresh my memory, though. It's been a hectic morning here. My internet was out until about 10 minutes ago. I don't know how long it's going to last. And we'll see what takes place. Well, good morning. I remember the name, but any details, no, I couldn't remember. I usually start this stream at 7 o'clock local time, and today I was. Today I started an hour early. I have to hit the road. Some things going on. You guys don't need to worry about. Denny Hamlin. Yeah, that name sounds vaguely familiar. I remember RCR Racing better than I remember Denny Hamlin. Oh, big trouble with NASCAR. I really don't keep up with it that much. And I looked him up real quick. I see that he's a NASCAR driver. The only way I would be keeping up with NASCAR is if they let me drive one of the cars. Oh, looks like some crazy stuff going on with his car. Yeah, you do the gas. Yes. If you had said that you're the gas man, I would have known. I would not have remembered Austin Dillon, but yeah. Because I remember you talking about you'd been doing that for a number of years. I want to say like 5 or 6 years. You said you'd been doing that. I bet that's a trip, being in the middle of everything like that. Oh, that's cool. Now, growing up, uh, I remember, I was a kid, and I remember all the adults. The women would be inside in the kitchen or in the house doing things, getting ready for Sunday afternoon dinner, and all the men would be out, and we'd tune in to the race on the car radios. No, no kids or grandkids. If I had kids, I would either still be married or I would be living next door. I would not have been, I would not have allowed to be separated from the kids. And when I had to go out of state for work, to find work, I definitely just, that would have put me in a tailspin, because I would not have allowed, for my kids to live anywhere other than in the same house or next door. I mean, I just don't do that. Oh no, no. Uh, the I have friends who have kids. I have dated women that have kids, and probably there's, I don't know, half a dozen uh, out there that probably think of me as a father figure. I mean, I've taught kids how to ride their bicycle. I've taught them how to drive a car. So, I've never had to change diapers. I mean, one of my siblings, I changed their diaper a couple of times, but I mean, I was 8 years older than them. And the nice thing about other people's kids, when the children get upset or they get bored or tired or anything, you just hand them back to mom and dad. Uh, there's quite a few kids that agree with that, but you know, I'm kind of picky about having a good relationship example for a mom and dad. And I never really got into that situation with somebody where, you know, it's complicated. It's like I tell people, the best situation to be in is a good relationship, and the worst situation to be in is a bad relationship. And then mediocre is just being by yourself until you find, I keep hoping that one of these days I'll be hiking up on the mountain and a woman will show up and we'll be able to make a connection. But there's been two or three that really enjoyed hiking until we, got into the relationship a good ways, and then they didn't enjoy hiking anymore. So that's why I'm a little picky about meeting them on the trails. Okay, go ahead. You can ask anything, but careful what you ask, cause I'll I'll just tell you. I mean, but I do reserve the right to just say no, thank you. But you go ahead and ask. Nothing wrong with asking. Khadijah, good morning. Yeah, I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning. Let's just say if you have a stepdad, take taking flowers and putting them back. That doesn't sound like it's too good for the flowers. If your boss or manager, that's probably not going to be a good thing. Is just a guess. Just a guess. But yeah, I saw that, Khadijah. It is. I think that would be extreme, getting you fired, but it would certainly make your life miserable at the very least. It depends on the manager. You know, some people, I don't know, go to extremes. I would suggest the person taking the flowers and bringing them back doesn't do that anymore. Uh, Khadijah, I was up. I was going to start both channels at 6 o'clock this morning, and I've already had my coffee. I think I got 2 sips in the cup left, and my internet went out for almost an hour, and then I noticed that it had come back, and I said, "Well, I'll try this until the internet goes." Uh, you, if you're in, I don't. It depends on what state you're in. If you're in a right to work state, yeah, they can get rid of you for any reason. Uh, if you're in a right to work state. Now, so it kind of depends on the state law where you at and such. Ask Khadijah. Khadijah knows if you're in a right to work state, they can terminate you for any reason. I don't know the laws in Texas, but I'm going to guess it's a right to work state. And trust me, they can technically get rid of you for any reason. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the way it is. And it's like people who are organized employees, and I'm going to keep this very general in its format. But I have seen people who were organized. I've seen the organization cut both ways. I've seen it be very helpful, and I've seen it be very detrimental. Uh, Job I had, we had a young man come work with us, and me and him was working in the same area, and got to talk to him for a while and everything. He was a good, hardworking guy, but uh, yeah, Khadijah knows. Uh, but we were talking, and he was in his other job. He was organized, and I said, "Well, why are you working here?" He said, "Well, we are on an organized protest, and so he needed to some kind of work in order to feed his family and whatnot, pay his bills." So we talked back and forth for several days. Anjali, hello. So nice to see you. Uh, so I got to talking to him, and he told me what he was making at the other job because, again, they were organized, so the pay was higher. And I do math. I mean, math is my thing. So I asked him how often was he out on protest, and he told me the numbers. And just real quickly, I said, you need to go and check your W-2s and look at what you're actually making, not what you think you're making by hour, but what you're actually making per year. And he come back in the next day. He said, I'm never going back. I make less money per hour here, but I make more money per year because of being out of work at the other place. Angeli, I'm doing pretty good. Internet issues this morning, but other than that, I'm fine. I've got to go deal with some. I, I just need to be in a support role today. I'm not going to add to other people's drama by telling them what I got to do. But the good news is we're not going to be 107 today. We're going to be in the 90s, and they're even talking about we might have a couple of days coming up where the high temperature only be like 85. Uh, I think the little brother better be prepared to say that the guy taking this stuff is never going to do it again, because you just never know. Hopefully, the manager will have some sense about him and say, look, this stops, or and give the guy a chance, because it's kind of limited what a child can tell the dad to do. Yeah, you know the yeah, Khadijah. I don't like it when it was 2 days last week. On the back porch, it was 107. That's too much. Yeah, it's 72 here. So we're a little cooler than you. Uh, RCR suggest suggest to the stepdad that he swear he'll never do it again. Yeah, and when I say it was 107 on the back porch, it was 107 air temperature, uh, and the humidity was outrageous. Hopefully, you're not in a high humidity area, because humidity makes it miserable. Yeah. Uh, That's why I moved out of South Carolina. South Carolina was just too hot. And the birds have stopped singing. Yeah, RCR have the stepdad and the son, come up with a plan before he goes in the door at work, if that's at all possible. Uh, Need to put a stop to that. Well, today it's going to be a little warm here, but we're going to get some rain, which won't be too bad. We can certainly use some rain. Now, the person we ought to be asking about weather is Anjali, because she's in Europe. And I like that name. It's spelled a little different. I could be pronouncing it totally wrong, but it must be close enough that it's not insulting, because she come back to the channel. Thank goodness. Right, Khadijah, us little old mountain men, we don't always pronounce stuff correctly. And has anybody else noticed uh, power outages in a lot of different places, different states, different parts of the same state? Well, let's hope not. The fact that the little brother let the boss know, and the boss didn't find out on his own, that should carry a little bit of forgiveness. Should. Yeah, I've noticed outages in the Midwest and like the week before my power was out here for a day, it was out uh, a county or two east of me, and then I was out the next week, and I heard there was power outages to my west after my power had been out. A day or two later, it's and we all know what's going on in New York because that's been in the news. And Khadijah, did you see on the news where our illustrious governor just signed the budget? Took me a second to think of the word. Khadijah, English is, even though I was born and raised here, English is a second language to me. My first language is probably math, but that's a whole other story. But our illustrious governors signed the budget, and it is a record budget, and they're bragging about it. This is the most money we've ever spent. To me, that's not something to brag about. RCR, good luck, buddy. Uh, the hottest I've ever been, I've been in Florida and other places, but the hottest I've ever been was Laredo, Texas. I mean, it was 100 degrees. The humidity was 100%. Yeah, I, I'm not going to disagree with you about the storms getting more powerful, but I don't think, in days gone by, the power company here, their business logo was to provide customers uninterrupted power. And now they have changed that to provide customers clean power. And, you know, I like both of those statements. I would like to have both of those occur. Yeah, give us clean power, but make it uninterrupted as much as possible. And I've heard more about power outages in the state with little or no bad weather. I think my getting an early start, the information didn't get out. You take your time. Khadijah, the in the 1800s, there was a hurricane that hit the coast of North Carolina, and it turned one of the islands in our Outer Banks. It permanently changed it to two islands instead of one. It tore through and just put a gap in it. Yeah, Khadijah. Hugo was something else. Uh, in 95 or 96, there was a snowstorm that hit, and I was snowed in for a week without power. And that was total electric house. So I didn't have water, didn't have anything. But I mean, it was a foot of snow. So anything that needed to be cold, I just put in a cooler and put on the back porch, and it stayed frozen. I need to go check something outside. I'm hearing some strange noises. Hold down the fort. I'll be right back. The good news is didn't see anything. The bad news is I don't have a clue what was making those sounds. Good morning, Misty. Misty, how's things on your side of the mountain? And Khadijah, you might remember this. You remember a guy named Steve Lawrence, him and his wife Edie. Uh, Today's his birthday. He was born in 1935. They were performers that also sang. They were fairly well known for that. And also today's birthday is Johnny Johansson. He was the drummer for the Allman Brothers. He was born in 1944. Misty must be busy or just waking up because short, direct answers. I don't think we'll see, well, I could be wrong, but I don't think we'll see Mike this morning. He might be recovering from yesterday's celebrations. Also, a little music history. The Saturday Night Fever soundtrack had been number one on the album charts for 6 months, but it was replaced as the number one album by Jerry Rafferty and his album City to City, which had Baker Street on it. I really like Baker Street. And I think some people call Baker Street the best saxophone solo. It gets mentioned a lot. And Khadijah, if you ever need to know the name of a group that did a song, you let me know. I'll be glad to help you. I meant to tell you this the other day. You just let me know, and I will. If I don't know it, I'll help you find it because I need to exercise my brain all I can. Khadijah, have you ever been to Duck, North Carolina? It's down on the coast. Oh, I was concerned for this. Yeah. We are going to do something a little bit different here. Yeah, they've started doing some construction work. Uh, I'm going to continue this live, but I'm going to go discontinue the nature channel because they're going to be running a saw, and it's going to be really less than less than enjoyable. So hold down the fort. I'll be right back. Oh, thank you guys. I like that they're gun ho and getting started early in the day to avoid the heat, but circular saws are not relaxing. So we'll just play this video here, and we'll continue the music channel until the internet goes out or 8 o'clock, whichever one comes first. Khadijah, how's everybody at your house? I hope everybody's having a great day and no issues going on. Oh no, Khadijah, I am so sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's similar situation here today. The the thing about here today is though it was an infant, just a few weeks old. Well, if you go to Baltimore, how are you going to get there? What mode of travel? Is somebody going to drive you? Oh, thank you, thank you. Because driving up to Baltimore is not fun. Yeah, that's true. If you're going up 95, oh geez, going through Richmond and then all within 20 miles of DC, the traffic's usually just so heavy. Really? Is that 200 a piece or 200 total? If you can get there and back, the both of you, for only 200, that's a bargain. Because for me driving, it would be 100 and probably be 120 bucks for gas, just me driving. So both of you getting there and back for 200 bucks, that's a good deal. Every time I've ever looked at taking a train somewhere, it's been more expensive than uh, other modes of transportation, shall we say. I need to go in and check prices because there's an Amtrak station in Greensboro. I could leave from there and go places. Yeah, the good thing about taking a train is uh, you get to see what's on the ground as you travel. Like when I flew out to LA, uh, I mean, I didn't even see the Rocky Mountains hardly. I could tell that it was a desolate area, but I couldn't see any details. You know, I'd like to drive Route 66 one day. I used to want to drive I-40 from coast to coast, but not so much anymore. Uh, Cadesia, the only train I ever took was Tweetsy Railroad. It's and that was 55 plus years ago. I'll have to look into taking a train places. Misty, the part of the world that you are located, oh, I don't blame you. The place close to where you're at, Misty, that I lived, I could not drive more than a mile from the house without seeing some stupidity take place. Uh, and for what I witnessed, uh, that was the worst place I ever lived for stuff like that. And I only lived there a few years, and I knew more people get unalived on motorcycles in those few short years there than the rest of my entire life anywhere else. That's how bad it was. And the place that I lived in South Carolina, the adjacent town, I mean, the borders were up against one another for these two towns. Uh, this one little town was designated by the Auto Insurance Association as having the worst drivers in the country. But the way they did it was if these drivers had an accident and on their driver's license, this small town was listed as where they live, those people had more accidents than any other town in the country. And I think that was as a percentage of the population. So if they were from that town and they had an accident in California, it still counted toward that particular town. And it's still kind of sort of a small town here. I mean, these two little towns nearby, they share a Hardee's. If if you go through the drive-through, you're ordering in one town and you're picking up in another. It's That's my best example of how small the towns are. But one town has a super Walmart. And I mean, even in South Carolina, I stopped riding my motorcycle. When you're in a parking lot of a business and the one of the aisles you go down to park is roughly 100 yards long, and somebody gets up enough speed to T-bone my car and total my car, that's not fun. And they had a subcompact. I mean, it was a super small car, and it hit me right on the passenger side, um, dead center of the passenger compartment of my car. So I took the tags off my motorcycle, and that car that was totaled the same day because I had been through there so many times on my motorcycle. If I'd have been on my motorcycle, I wouldn't be here today. thought I'd change things up just a little bit. Can you guys hear the river okay? Yeah, it's pretty good. I think you mean the previous one. Since everybody's having hot weather, I thought I would just remind everybody of what it's like uh, in wintertime around here. And if you look up above just a little bit to the left and above the waterfall, those icicles, they are they're about between 5 and 7 foot long, hanging off the cliff there. We'll think some cooler thoughts this morning. Yeah, during the summertime, you go to this waterfall right here, and it is jam packed with people. Uh, they have to post one of the rangers in the parking lot, and once it's full, they will not let you in. And they'll go down there and they'll wade around in that pool. And of course, little kids, they can float in it. I guess there's a couple of places adults can float, but it's only knee deep. Now I'm thinking about train rides and waterfalls. There are so many waterfalls I have yet to go to in video in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. But the last time I went over to Cades Cove, the waterfall that I wanted to video, it was so crowded, I didn't even bother. I videoed walking to Abrams Falls, but Abrams Falls was the trail's wide enough that I could walk by people and whatnot. But once I got down to Abrams Falls, I had to be selective where I set up a camera so I didn't have tons of people. In Khadijah, that first river that I showed you, that's the Dan River. I have a video of going down the Dan in my canoe, and that one's kind of fun. Now I'm thinking Tina Turner rolling on the river. There we go. this might be a little more relaxing for a morning get together, shall we say. And this is a good example of some of the rock cliffs along the Dan River. So, and the reason that we're not showing Treezilla this morning is there's some construction work nearby, and we're just playing some canned video. See, even along our rivers here, we've got sandy beaches. Roger Blair. Roger, this morning we've got some construction work going on, so I'm just playing an old video, and the Nature Channel is not live this morning. Well, not live any longer. This is the Dan River. Yeah, there was all kinds of construction work going on, and that kind of spoils the mood, shall we say. Like I said, I admire them getting out early and doing their thing, but I want people to be able to relax, and construction sounds are not relaxing. And the boat's about to drag here. But Roger, I appreciate you checking in on that. I don't know if you're Tim the Toolman Taylor, you might get relaxed listening to that stuff. And see, there's another little sandy beach along the river, and at the top of that trail you just saw leading up, right at the top of that embankment is a nature trail to walk nearby. So, Roger, how you doing today? Everything going smooth for you, I hope. That's great. Any updates on your bear that's been visiting your yard? And that little spot right there, a lot of people will walk down to that embankment and fish. I need to get the canoe out and do something. You know, go down the river or go out on the lake.
Nice hat.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Where'd you get it?
Depop, $12.
Mine cost me a lot more than that.
See, now that bugs me because I'm not monetized. They should not be playing commercials in the middle of a video. And stuff like that's why I don't want to ever monetize the nature channel, because it just, that commercials don't fit in with, you know, the relaxing videos. And I missed part of last night's program with Moggs and Stevie. Phone call coming in. I tried to half listen. I was hoping Mr. Lee would show up this morning, but he's watching so much football, he's probably having trouble getting sleep time. I don't know what it is, but there's something about seeing the the sheer rocks right next to a river. There's just something about that I like. I was watching somebody, they were at a rocky coastline, and we don't see that around here. We've got sandy beaches. And if you can hear those voices in the background, that's somebody hiking the trail and talking to one another. But thanks, Roger. Well, I'm a little Nightbot should have welcomed you back. Sometimes Nightbot gets tripped up too easily.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and video downloads, so you can watch.
Again with the commercials. So I hope everybody's having a good morning. We're watching a video this morning instead of a live stream because there's some construction work going on. Super Dave. No, but I passed a couple of spots earlier in the video that was good fishing spots. People go there a lot. I don't think you're going to catch much other than brim. There's a Virginia bass, but I don't know the proper names. The live stream on the Nature Channel this morning was cut short because, like I said, neighbors doing construction work. And I'll probably go until 8 o'clock on this one. I need to get on the road early today. So, Mr. Super Dave, what's going on in South Carolina? Oh, Super Dave, are you going to go to the classic motorcycle get together in Chesney? I don't know if you do stuff like that or not, but if you're going to go to that, we need to get together and make sure we at least have time to sit down over a coffee. Oh yeah, uh, I got that canoe when I had a car. It's an inflatable, and I've taken it down the river there for. I've been using it over 30 years, and it does great because it will float in just a couple of inches of water. Uh, they say there's a class two rapid, but I'd say it's class one.
Watch baseball all season.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I am not going to play their commercials for them. Yeah, because Chesney would be what, an hour drive for you, close to it. But they have the classic motorcycle get together, shall we say. Yeah, that kind of bugs me that they're playing that many commercials. And like I said, I'm not monetized. And that's the very reason I'm not monetized is because I don't want commercials playing in these videos. And I think the Nature Channel might have reached its limits. The people coming to the channel has been 1790. Like it got past 1790, and then it'll go up to like 96, and it'll come back down to 92, and then it'll go up to 96, and it'll come back to 92. So yeah, it's kind of stalled out. Oh, and Super Dave, that video you did the other day without your hat on, I'm serious. I almost didn't click on it because I didn't recognize you. I am so used to seeing you in a hat of some kind. And there was a channel I was watching the other day, and they were asking when did it become unpopular to wear a hat, and that would be contributed to some guy named John Kennedy. He did not want to wear a hat, and he was so popular pretty much overnight most American men stopped wearing hats. But you look at all the movies in the 40s, 50s, and whatnot, and all the guys had on hats pretty much. But come 1960, hats just disappeared. And then ball caps started coming into play in the 70s. Yeah, I understand. When it gets too hot for the hat, Super Dave, I have to convert over to a do-rag because unlike other people, I don't have hair on top of my head enough to block the sun out. So I got to put something up there to keep from getting sunburned. And yeah, that's the only bad thing about going to Chesney is it's probably going to be hot. But you know, Super Dave, one day I'm going to get down your way and we're going to have that coffee. Which flea market do you go to? Yeah, I don't know where they are either. Mike, Mike was celebrating yesterday. He had a birthday to celebrate with someone, and he had his anniversary. And last night, in Mog's chat, he said him and his wife were partaking of drink heavily. Super Dave, when I lived in Columbia, I never went to that flea market. I was so busy working, though. I mean, I worked second shift and it was 10 hours a day. And I ended up getting like every other Sunday off. And I finally told the guy there was 5 or 6 people that came to work after I started working there, and they had all left. I mean, because it was hot and very dirty work. And I told the guy, I said, "You're never going to get anybody. You're not going to get enough people hired so that we're not working 6 and 7 days a week." The money was great, but it was that was just too much. And like I said, it was extremely hot and extremely dirty. You could lose a finger easily. You could lose appendages easily. And if you weren't real careful, you could lose head to toe. So it was a hazardous job. You know, I was thankful to have a job, but if I could have found something working 5 days a week making that money, I'd still be there, even in Columbia, as odd as it is. But Columbia, oh my goodness. I was living in an apartment with a pool, and I still barely had a suntan because it was too hot to go out to the pool. You guys take a minute to say bye to one another because I'm going to cut out of here. I've got to hit the road and get things going early today. I greatly appreciate everybody coming in because I know how many different channels there is that you guys could go to, and I appreciate you spending your time here. Even today when schedules kind of messed up for me, I didn't have any internet, and you guys are still here. I really appreciate that. For people traveling, be safe out there on the roads. I hope only kind words come your way and everyone gets the day that they deserve.